What's up guys, I'm Lee Morris with Fstoppers.com, and in today's video we're going to be talking about tripod heads and tripod plates. Now, when you first get into videography, if you don't have $1 million to spend, you're probably going to go for a Manfrotto pan head. They make great tripod heads, and you're probably going to use one of these longer plates. I believe these plates are called 500 plates or 500L plates, and these plates have always driven me crazy. The slightly older ones like this one here have a standard flathead screw that you have to screw into the bottom of the camera. Yes, you can use a coin if you happen to have a coin on you. I never have coins on me. And the problem that I have with these plates is that they just get loose over time. No matter how much I tighten them down, at the end of the shoot each day, the camera is like wobbling on this thing and I'm afraid it's just literally going to fall off. The other issue that I have with this plate, and you can see here, I have an entire bag of these screws, is that every once in a while in the bag, or I don't know how it happens, but this little rubber gasket falls out and then the screw will fall out and I will never be able to find it again. So we always have to buy these screws to replace the ones that we lose. And I am so happy to say that I think I have found a replacement for these plates and these heads, and I will never use one of these long plates again. Now, the plate that I will be using for hopefully the rest of my life, and I will never have to use another type of plate, is the Manfrotto 200 PL. This little plate is, as you probably known, was made for still photography, but what I love about this plate more than anything else is it has this little bar on the bottom that I can peel up and I can lock this down with my fingers, and I can get so much more torque with this little handle than I ever could with a dime on that other one. And I have never had an issue with this thing coming loose on a camera. It always stays on top. Here is my go-to ball head pistol grip. This is the Manfrotto 322 RC2. I think I've had this for my entire career, and at this point I may own 4 of these. As you can see, this plate just snaps right on top there. And what's awesome about this system is it also has this safety lever. So when this is engaged, you can no longer get the plate out. You have to flip this back. And I've used a bunch of other more expensive tripod heads and plates and mounts, and a lot of them don't have the safety latch, and I am constantly bumping into things and I am always afraid that my camera is going to come off, so I really appreciate this feature with this head. Now, for my entire photography career, I use this type of plate for photography, and then I use the long type of plate for videography. And of course, with the longer plate, you could use a pan head like this, and it worked fine as long as the plate stayed on the camera. But again, it was always a pain in the butt, and I have been looking for a reason to get rid of this. Now, I recently bought this much smaller pan head. This is the Manfrotto MHX Pro-2W. So as you can see, similar pan head, but we have a totally different plate holder on top. So we can take the same 200 plate, stick it in there, and then this one has an automatic safety mechanism that automatically pops into place, so I can't get this thing out without pushing down here and pulling that. So this is a excellent head if you're trying to travel a lot, if you want something a little bit smaller and lighter, easier to deal with. For the GH5 and other smaller cameras, this is exactly what I have been looking for. Now, when it comes to the features of this head, it's not going to be as feature rich as something that costs 10 times as much or is 2 or 3 times as big. Some of these tripod heads, when you get to really nice ones, can balance themselves out and they want to right themselves. Some of them have incredibly smooth panning. This one's just kind of smooth. In terms of balancing itself, it doesn't really do that, but you can change it from like a really small camera to a slightly larger camera, which will add a little bit more drag to the movement. Basically what I'm trying to say is, for what we do, and especially pairing this with the GH5, I haven't had any issue using this whatsoever, and I have never wished that I would have to go back to the much bigger, more expensive options. So as you can see at this point, we have a plate that works for still photography. We have the same exact plate that works for the tripods that have the pan heads on them, but I have one more thing that I'm really excited about. This is the new, I don't even know if I can pronounce the name. I actually know for a fact I cannot pronounce the name. It's like Ziyun or something Crane, just look up Crane gimbal. This will come up. This is by far our favorite gimbal that we've tested, especially when it comes to the GH5. And as you can see, what I've added here is the 323 RC2 plate acceptor. And what this allows us to do is balance this thing out perfectly for the camera, and now I can instantly take the camera on and off this gimbal without ever having to deal with balancing again. So check out how quick this is. Put that in place, turn this thing on, and it comes alive instantly, and then I can turn it off, and very quickly I can take it out. One thing that's always driven me crazy about using the gimbal is, you know, every time you need to change the battery, you're gonna have to take the thing off, put the plate back on, or put it back on the gimbal and then slide it around, get everything balanced. This system has made everything so much easier and faster. Now, obviously, the way that I have this balanced now is precisely for this camera and this lens. If I was going to use a different camera or a different lens, I would then have to move this quick release plate backwards and forwards and get it balanced again. But I know for me personally, this is the exact setup that I want to use for a gimbal. I don't think there's any reason why I'm ever going to have to change this. So guys, that's basically the entire video. I just wanted to sing the praises of the Manfrotto 200 PL plate. I think it's one of the easiest and smallest and most convenient plates I've ever used. And now when I pair it with the super small and convenient GH5, I can't think of a better system. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you'd like more information about photography or videography, head over to fstoppers.com for daily free content. And if you'd like more information about our super high-end professional photography tutorials, head over to fstoppers.com/store.